I'd like to go ahead and call our meeting to order. Today is Monday, December 22nd, and this is a special Board of Education meeting starting at 4 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. However, it is an important item that we're discussing this evening. So also, thank you to board members for taking time out of your schedules to join us today as well. I appreciate the time. So before us, we have approval of the agenda. Could someone please read that for me? Keith?
I move that the agenda of Monday, December 22nd, 2014 Special Board of Education meeting be approved as set forth, and each item is considered ready for discussion and/or action.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
This is a roll call action.
Director Laverty.
Aye.
Director Witt.
Aye.
Director Anhalt.
Aye.
Director Humbles.
Aye.
Director Westerkamp.
Aye.
President Meisterling.
Next on our agenda, we have an early release and acceptance of superintendent retirement letter that should be in your board packet. It's recommended that we do accept this. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next in your board packet, we do have a proposal from Bill Attia to start our search process, and this is HYA Executive Search, Hazard Young and Associate, Attia and Associates out of Chicago. Bill is the gentleman who did conduct or facilitate our board in the last two superintendent searches, and I do have him on Skype tonight.
Second.
We'll just give that a minute or two more.
Who's that funny guy?
I think that's Bill.
It worked earlier today, so.
He was gonna be ready.
Yep.
Oh. Bubbled in.
So as, it's our second attempt.
There you go. Bill, are you there?
Can you hear me, Justin?
I can hear you. I can't see you, though. No, I
Here,
can see you.
there. Now
Hold
you
on
can-
1 second and let me get you all lined up in front of the board.
Okay.
There you go. See, okay?
Hi, Bill.
Good afternoon, everyone.
How are you? Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and we just opened up our meeting. We accepted the resignation of Dave Benson effective June 30th of 2015, and we are just looking at your proposal now. It was sent to the board ahead of time, but I wonder if you could take a few minutes and just provide an executive overview of the proposal in front of us.
Sure, I'd be very happy to. The proposal lays out what we call a focus search. The focus search has the following components. The first thing we would do is meet with the entire board to lay out the entire search so that it is customized to your needs in Cedar Rapids and meets the needs of the community, the school district, the board, and other stakeholders. During that time, we will lay out the timeline. We will lay out the constituent groups you would like us to meet with as we gather data regarding the type of superintendent you might want to hire, and all of the things so that there are no surprises. And as I said, it will be customized. If you follow the prototypical process, about 2 weeks after the planning meeting, we would be back in the district to meet with each of the board members individually for about an hour. And then we will meet with stakeholder groups that you will identify and would like us to meet with. We do recommend very strongly that there be an open forum for all members of the public, that there be an open forum for staff, so that staff members can come and meet with us. And then we definitely have an opportunity to meet with the leadership of the district, with Dave Benson and his cabinet, either individually with Dave and the cabinet separate or as a group. That would be your option. Basically, in these meetings, we ask 4 questions. The first one is, currently, what are the strengths of the district? What are the things that are going well that the community, the various stakeholders we're meeting with feel should be maintained and built upon? Secondly, what are the current and future challenges the district is going to meet? What are the issues the new superintendent will be facing with the board and the community and the staff, et cetera? And we try to identify those going out to 3 to 5 to 7 years. Thirdly, what are you looking for in the new superintendent? What are the characteristics you're looking for, and what are the skill sets you're looking for in the new superintendent? And with the board's permission, we'd like to start right there to build our base, either in a focused or complete search. Are you aware of anybody that you know of, if you've lived in other communities, if you've worked in other communities, if you know of anybody who might be a good candidate for this position? And we'd like to ask that of every group we meet with. Once those interviews are done, the public forums are done, our meetings with the board members are done, we will reduce that to a written report and meet again with the board to review the report. You'll get it in advance so that you can review it, and we'll come and discuss the report with you, and working with the board, identify these specific criteria you would like to see in your new superintendent. This is probably the second most important part of the entire search. The most important part, obviously, is selecting the right person. But generally speaking, in order to select the right person, you really need to be clear in what you're looking for. And so we will work with the board on the basis of what we heard from all your stakeholders, what we heard from the individual board members, and work with you to identify those criteria and become pretty specific with them so that we can go out and, in a focused search, what we do is identify several people who meet your criteria and aggressively recruit those people. Once we go out, we also will be looking at all the people that might be nominated when we meet with each of you, when we meet with your stakeholder groups, your parents, your community members, the leadership in the community, the staff, et cetera. And we will identify the candidates that best meet the criteria and the needs we sense that the board is looking for from our deliberations with you at the planning meeting, when we present the leadership profile report, when we establish the criteria. And we present those candidates to the board for their consideration and review. The number of candidates you will see is dependent upon your desires. When we have the planning meeting, we will ask you, how many candidates would you like to see? And you will make that determination. Also, if any of the board members are aware of any candidates that they would like us to pursue, you will have that opportunity to share that with us when we meet individually with you and identify the various people. Once you have your interviews, if you feel you've found your candidate, you would bring that candidate under contract after due diligence. Our minimum due diligence as recommended is you do a site visit of the situation the candidate currently is sitting in, whether he's a superintendent or she's a superintendent or he or she is in another area, that you do a comprehensive, very comprehensive background check. We recommend a investigative firm. We use Baker Eubanks quite frequently. We've been using them now for over close to 25 years. They will do a comprehensive background check in all of the federal, county, and local courts. Domestic courts, bankruptcy courts do a credit check, a driving record check, check the accreditation and the validity of degrees on resumes, et cetera. It'll give you a very comprehensive report if there's anything, so to speak, in the background that you should be aware of. And we also recommend you do follow-up reference checks. Even though we will do a number of reference checks before we recommend candidates, we think that due diligence warrants that you contact people. For instance, the board president may want to connect with the president of a board that the candidate might be familiar with, et cetera. If he or she is a sitting superintendent, obviously the superintendent's current board president and things of that nature. And once all of that is done, we wrap up the search with thank you letters. We give the board president a sample letter to send to all the people you might interview, thanking them for the search, and you have your new superintendent in place. Those are the components of a focus search. Basically, making sure that it's your search by you planning the search and customizing it to the needs of Cedar Rapids at this time. 2, extensive engagement of the public and stakeholders. All who want to be involved would be welcome to come to the open forums, whether they're staff members, community members. And as I said, we would have focus groups that you will identify. We will meet with select groups. For instance, we might want to meet with your teacher leadership. One might want to meet with your principals. You identify those groups, your PTA council, etc. And then, that extensive engagement, the identifying of people to recruit, and the recruitment. The difference between a focus search and a comprehensive search is the timeline. You establish the timeline, but generally in a comprehensive search, there are 6 to 8 weeks for recruitment, and that type of extensive recruitment, advertising, etc., is generally foregone in a focus search. Rather, we identify the people through the input received during the input sessions, dialogue with you, and our knowledge of candidates on the basis of the criteria you establish. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions or comments? John?
I just have to say, being involved with you, Bill, in the last search when we got Dr. Benson, we were under all kinds of issues in our community coming back from the flood. And I have to say you did a marvelous job. I helped do the site visit down to St. Louis and worked with those folks, and we got a top-rate superintendent out of it. So there is a lot of confidence, I think, for many of us that worked with you in the past, and appreciate that honesty. And I just think, again, it's been brought up in the public, but just as transparent as we can be in this process, and as much public and internal input as we can have, would certainly be appreciated.
Right. Well, we feel that search should be as transparent as possible to the point of losing a candidate that might be your top candidate. And we'll discuss that in the planning meeting. That's entirely within your purview as to whether you want it to be a wide open search or a closed search. But there are a number of people who have lost jobs when it's become public that they are looking for other jobs. And very honestly, some of your better superintendents, if you're going to recruit them, will be hesitant to go public if it's not a confidential search. We recommend that the board not make that final decision until they know who the candidates are and what the conditions of the candidates are. I know that the press will say anybody who's not willing to go public shouldn't be considered. That is a traditional comment of the press. On the other hand, I think your responsibility is to find the best possible person for the Cedar Rapids School District. And if you're going to lose the best candidate by going public, that's a decision you have to make at that time. So but our recommendation is always to be as open as possible. We do recommend that planning meeting, the criteria meeting, all of those meetings be open to the public, and that they are there and have an opportunity to ask us questions, ask you questions, and know what we're doing, and more importantly, why we're doing them.
Okay, Keith?
I have 2 questions. One has to do with timing. I know the last time we had a full year, and where you see we're at strategically in getting the best candidates, giving a half a year's already gone. So we have 6 months.
Sure.
So that's one question.
Well, do you want me to answer, or do you want me to? Okay, sure. Well, one of the things in a focus search is that the high probability is your person is going to be recruited. The truth of the matter is, even if it's an extended search, about 80% of the superintendents hired with our help are people who are recruited. And when you recruit people, any time in the year is a good time. What you lose out when half the year is gone is you lose out on some of the people who have initiated on their own part a desire to go out and seek another job, and who may have already, found another job. But when you have an aggressive recruitment search, it really doesn't matter when you do the search, Keith.
All right, thank you. And the other question is how do you see the supply of candidates out there today? I know last time we did a search, you said the market is very tight.
You know, the market is tight to the extent that the number of people coming into the superintendency and with the types of experience that you would want in Cedar Rapids is a limited number. And, you know, there are scads of people who are probably willing to become your next superintendent. The question is, how many that have the criteria you're seeking to address your unique problems are available? And so it's really, it's the identification. The broader you establish your criteria, the more people there will be that would be eligible to be your superintendent. Our experience with Cedar Rapids is you're a unique city. You know, you're, I believe, the second largest city in Iowa. You've got different types of challenges than some other cities, and yet a lot of the same challenges. So to find a good urban superintendent today is not an easy challenge. You've been very fortunate in that you've had stability in your urban superintendencies. And I think that's a credit to the board and the work you as a board do in identifying what you're looking for and clearly articulating what the challenges are ahead of time. But the average superintendent in urban areas now, it's about 1.5 to 2 years. And, you know, if you want any stability in a district, you need to recruit for a minimum to 5 to 7 years. And both Davids have stayed with you that length of period, and it has paid dividends for your district.
I agree 100% with that.
Pardon?
I agree 100% with you on
Oh,
that.
okay. Thank
I'm
you.
surprised down to 1.5
Right.
on stay time. That's
Disruptive.
Yeah,
very
but
bad.
one of the reasons why so many of our urban areas are in turmoil is because of the fact that there is no stability and no time for long-range planning and execution. You cannot have a superintendent there 1, 2, or even 3 years and expect him or her to make any impact on a district. 3 years at the minimum for the planning and getting all the gears in motion, and at least 2 more years for implementation. So when we recruit, we will not recruit anyone unless they're willing to make a 5-year minimum commitment to a district.
Other comments or questions? Okay. Bill, thank you very much. It's now time for our board to consider approving this proposal and professional services agreement with Bill Attia at Hazard, Young and Attia. All those in favor?
I have a question.
Okay.
My question is because this is a professional, I'm looking at you, Steve, contract we're within the boundaries of doing that and met the requirements. So,
Professional services requirements.
Do you have a microphone? Thank you.
Or you would have to go out for bids. If you believe that Bill's firm is going to provide a superior service, you can move forward with Bill now. There's no requirement.
Okay. Any other questions?
We need a motion in a second, or
It's a voice vote. Do you want it to be a motion?
not me?
Make a motion.
I'll move that we approve the proposal for professional services for the superintendent search as listed on the agenda.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Call action?
Director Witt?
Aye.
Director Anwalt?
Aye.
Director Humbles?
Aye.
Director Westerkamp?
aye.
Director Laverty?
Aye.
President Meisterling?
So, Bill, next on our agenda is to talk about an initial planning session, and if you had some dates in mind that we might be able to
Sure.
get
Well,
to.
first of all, I want to thank you for your confidence and assure you that we will do our darndest to find somebody better than your 2 Davids so we don't slip. Actually, what is your schedule? I presume you're looking at early January?
Yeah.
When is your board meeting in January? If we can come early that day and save you 2 days coming out, we'd be happy to do that unless that's too late in months.
That would be
What-
January 12th.
January 12th. January 12th would work for me if that would work for you, or if you want to do it the prior week, we could do it then too. So that would be up to you.
I think January 12th would work fine. Board members? Yes. Okay.
Okay, and what would be the best time for you? if you want to do it before the board meeting, I would suggest we, have about an hour and a half to do the planning.
Okay? Sounds good? We'll start at 4.
4 o'clock?
Mhm.
Okay, 4 o'clock on the 12th. I will see you there.
Okay, Bill, thank you. Happy
Well,
holidays to
in
you
the
and your
interim,
family.
I hope you all have a very happy holiday and a safe holiday and enjoy your families. And we will already start thinking about Cedar Rapids for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. There being no further business before this board, we stand adjourned. Thank you.